This is not kindness. This is spiritual bribery disguised as flattery. In a battle to defend self-sovereignty and psychological boundaries, you have already lost. You think you are maintaining interpersonal relationships, but in fact, you are giving up territory to pay compensation, exchanging your dignity for that little bit of pitiful security. As we all know, there is always a type of person in life who will give others whatever they want, even if they suffer great grievances, but still have a smile on their face. Although everyone calls this a pleaser personality, they even praise her for her high emotional intelligence and good personality. But in fact, this is not a virtue at all, but a survival defense mechanism that has been operating seamlessly for more than 10 years. If anyone is kidnapped by this mechanism, whoever will completely lose the right to define their own life. If you don't believe it, let's take a look at the real logic behind this behavior. First of all, we need to break a huge illusion. The trump card of a pleaser is not love at all, but fear. Most people have misunderstandings about people-pleasing personalities, thinking that they are born with a mother's heart. Let me put it this way. If you compare a person's psychological structure to a company, the core business of ordinary people is to develop themselves, while the core business of a pleaser personality is only one, and that is to avoid conflicts. It seems that you are helping your colleagues bring meals, helping your friends to bear the blame, and being submissive to your partner, but in fact, you are making a high-risk calculation in your subconscious. Your brain is equipped with an extremely sensitive emotional radar. The detection accuracy of this radar has reached an abnormal level, even if the other person just frowns or the tone of the reply is slightly colder by 0.1 degree. Your heart will immediately sound the air defense alarm. You subconsciously think disaster is coming and I have to do something to stop him from getting angry. It's like the body's immune system has become red-eyed, treating all other people's emotions as deadly viruses, and your only antibody is bottomless obedience. This is not at all because you like the other person. It's because you're afraid that the other person's emotional outburst will destroy your fragile psychological defenses like a nuclear bomb. Some friends may not understand why this fear is so deep-rooted. This comes to the first deep root, the paid contract of being loved in childhood. Let's pull back the timeline a few decades ago, and many pleasers actually spent their childhoods in an emotional pressure cooker. In their native families, love is not a background that exists like air, but a scarce commodity that needs to be purchased. Parents are like a strict party A, holding a budget called attention and recognition, and children must exchange these products for being obedient, sensible, and not getting into trouble. This model makes it very clear that you are safe and worthy of love only when you meet your parents' expectations. Once you show a little bit of will, like crying, saying no, or asking for a toy, your parents' love will be cut off immediately, replaced by cold violence, scolding, or that disappointed look that still gives you nightmares. It is no exaggeration to say that, for a child of several years old, your parents' emotional withdrawal is equivalent to a death threat. In order to survive, you are forced to delete all the edges and corners of your character and develop your sense of words and emotions into instinct. You learn to deep freeze your true needs in exchange for a moment of peace in your family relationships. So from a certain perspective, the pleaser personality is an overtrained, slavish survival strategy. You may appear to be an adult, but the moment you interact with someone, the frightened child inside you immediately takes over. When you try your best to be nice to others, you are actually subconsciously speaking to your parents back then. Look, I'm so good. Please don't abandon me. This is a very cruel truth. Every time you try to please someone, you are actually paying protection fees to the world. Then I know some people will say, now that I have grown up and left my parents, why can't this mechanism stop? The reason is very simple, because there is another more hidden logic program running in your operating system, which is the perversion of omnipotent narcissism. This is the core pain point of the people-pleasing personality, and the pain point that it is least willing to admit. When many people hear the word narcissism, their first reaction is to find it unbelievable, and I have been humbled to the dust. How could it be narcissism? Let me put it this way. The essence of the pleaser personality is actually a covert, controlling, and omnipotent narcissism. Subconsciously, you not only want to be a good person, you also want to be the god of other people's emotions. Your underlying logic is that as long as I do a good enough job, I can control your view of others, I can control the direction of the relationship, and I can keep you from being angry. Not leaving is an extremely arrogant delusion. You attempt to rewrite someone else's script at the expense of your own needs. When you please others, you are actually depriving them of their right to deal with their emotions independently as an adult. This is why many people who please you will become very angry and aggrieved in the end, because you have unilaterally signed an invisible contract in your heart. You think, I have lowered myself to the dust, so you should be as kind to me as I expected. Once the other party fails to follow your script, the other party just expresses dissatisfaction normally, or does not give you the feedback you expected. Your inner world will collapse instantly. You will feel betrayed, and you will question, I have paid so much for you. Why do you treat me like this? Do you understand? This is not selfless at all. This is a moral kidnapping deal that is doomed to fail. You put your personal dignity as a bargaining chip on the gambling table, hoping to win back the respect of others. But the other party didn't want to participate in this bet at all. To put it more clearly, the most terrifying consequence of a please-pleaser personality is not fatigue, but self-emptiness. Just like a country does not have its own sovereign currency and can only be forced to use foreign currencies for settlement, your value evaluation system is completely outsourced. You are like a mirror. You only feel that you exist when others stand in front of you and look in the mirror. If there is no feedback, no praise or recognition from others, you don't even know who you are or what you should do. This leads to a very dangerous cycle. The less you know who you are, the more you need to please others to confirm your sense of existence. And the more you please, the blur your self-boundaries become, and the more you resemble a hollow scarecrow. I know someone is going to ask, now that the root cause of the disease has been found, where is the trump card in our hand to make a comeback? This trick is difficult, but you must learn it, which is subject separation. This is a core concept put forward by the master of psychology Adler. And it is also the sword that cuts off the please-pleaser personality. You need to understand that your attitude towards others is your issue, and how others evaluate you, whether others will be angry, and whether others like you or not, are other people's issues. In the past, you always tried to cross boundaries to solve other people's problems. I went to carry the emotional baggage for others, but ended up exhausting myself to death and raising a bunch of giant babies. Now, all you have to do is draw the line as clear as barbed wire. When others get angry with you, or express disappointment in you without restraint, tell yourself this in your heart. It's his emotion, not my fault. I am not responsible for his emotions. This may sound cold, but this is true maturity. You have to understand that 99% of the interpersonal problems in this world all stem from unclear boundaries. You have to have the courage to be hated. The false peace of a good old man actually turns himself into a trash can for other people's emotions. The real strength is not to make everyone like you, but to be able to accept that some people don't like you. When you can say no without guilt, when you are no longer frightened by other people's faces, and when you start to respect your own feelings above other people's expectations, then you have truly won back the right to define your own life. No one can fight this battle for you. In the past, you lost yourself in order to please others. Now it is time to pick up the self that was thrown in the corner. Dust yourself off, even if the whole world says you have changed. You can hold your head high and say, I don't please anyone else, I only please myself. Break these shackles, and your life has just begun.